A lot of people tell me that they've been learning Spanish for a while and that they understand very well, but when it comes to speaking, they just don't have that fluency. They can't think fast enough in the language. They are afraid of making mistakes. Uh, yeah, basically they have a fluency problem. A lot of people, especially people who are learning online, this happens all the time. People are afraid of speaking, or they don't speak well, and they know they don't speak well. So they understand, but they don't speak well. This is the solution. This will solve most of your speaking problems, except pronunciation. Pronunciation will need another type of exercise that is a topic for another video. But um, when it comes to fluency and accuracy, meaning not making that many mistakes, that's accuracy, um, making the least amount of mistakes possible. This exercise is king when it comes to fluency and accuracy. You speak fluently and you speak accurately. You don't need to think too much before you form sentences. It's relatively effortless to speak in the language, and you don't make that many mistakes. And that's where you want to be. Even if your pronunciation is not very good, uh, obviously you want your pronunciation to be good, but the most important thing is being able to say what you want to say and not making that many mistakes, right? So this is the way to do it. Basically, what you need is a long list of sentences. I've got 15,000 on this list. English here, or whatever your native language is, Spanish here. And the only thing you need to do is translate from English into Spanish and then check if you translated it correctly or not. You have to do it aloud so that you're developing muscle memory. You are saying things in the language. So you're thinking in the language, you're speaking the language, and then you're getting corrected right after every time. So this exercise is actually better than real life conversation. It's less fun than real life conversation, but it's more efficient because this is one sentence after another, always with immediate feedback. You don't get immediate feedback in real conversation for the most part because people don't want to correct you. But here you do, yeah. So the only thing you need to do is to read the sentences, try to say them in the target language, and that's it. So the train is delayed. El tren está retrasado. Tren está retrasado. These shoes are too tight. Estos zapatos son demasiado ajustados. Uh, este teléfono es demasiado viejo. Muy viejo. A bit too old. Ella se está riendo. O se está riendo. We wouldn't say this. But, okay. ¿Te sientes bien? And so on. Yeah, and you do this with hundreds of sentences every day. Ideally over 1,000. I do it with over 1,000 sentences per day. It's very difficult in the beginning, but the more you do it, the easier it gets. And it's the best training possible for real conversations. Because if you've been doing this daily and you've been doing it enough so that you start feeling comfortable doing this, real life conversations will be easy in comparison because you don't need to use that many words and that many sentences. We don't say that many things. We tend to say the same things over and over when we talk to people. And this will massively expand your active vocabulary because it's making you say things that you wouldn't normally say because you don't think of them for the most part in a foreign language. So you mostly use what you already know or things that you're comfortable with. This will make you expand your active vocabulary. So if you do this regularly, your speaking will get way better very quickly. Yeah, fewer mistakes and much more fluent. Combine this with listening to podcasts regularly or listening to an audio or text to speech audio of this, even better, even if it sounds a little bit weird because it's an AI voice, but still, if you're listening to the same sentences over and over, you're much more likely to remember them. But eventually, you want to be listening to native speaker podcasts with an accent that you want to acquire eventually. But you won't become fluent just by doing that. No amount of listening, no amount of watching videos will take you to fluency. You will have to do a lot of speaking practice, and believe me, this an hour of this is worth tens of hours of comprehensible input or all of that nonsense. This is very hard work, but it's very effective. And if you do 1 hour sessions of this, you feel exhausted at the end, but at some point, uh, you will want to keep going because you will notice how much you've improved in just 1 hour. By the end of the session, you should be, if you've been actually trying, you'll feel like you've made so much progress, and you're able to say so much more now that you'll just want to keep going. Um, so I highly recommend you start doing this exercise as soon as possible. Start today. Start with 50 sentences, 100 sentences a day, maybe. And once it gets a little bit easier, then increase the amount to 200 sentences, 300 a day. I do over 1,000, and right now it's not that difficult. It's hard work, but you just have to keep going and keep going until you do your numbers. And that's it. It's like an exercise machine or any kind of workout. You have to look at you have to look at it like that. And 1,000 reps of this is it takes me a long time, but it's a game changer when it comes to speaking fluency. Right. So yeah, if you want to become fluent in Spanish, not in a year. I mean, now, like in like 2 3 weeks, if you want to speak way better, do an hour or two a day of this, and you'll notice a massive difference, right?